So DuPont State Forest is pretty cool. They got these forest roads that you can't drive on. There's like gates to them, but you can walk on them, and a lot of people mountain bike around here. Great place for mountain biking. And then they have like foot trails too. So there's 3 lakes trails right here. Goes around Lake Julia, and I forget the other 2 lakes, but it kind of zigzags around, and then it comes back to this forest road later. So I'm just trying to get back. I'm not sightseeing today, but I was just at Lake Julia, which one of the visitor center staff, maybe a assistant ranger or something, like when I went in for a map yesterday, I told him I was trying to get to that lake, and I didn't really know where to drive to, and that's when he told me that these roads, even though they're on the map, like Google Maps, and like on the trail map he gave me, like that they offer for the park, they're called roads. But we both laughed. He's like, "But you can't drive on them." I was like, "We can't drive on the roads?" What do you mean? But they're just the service roads, I mean, sometimes in national forests, these kind of roads are accessible. I mean, usually they are. I think this park has undergone some maintenance, and maybe some parts are still like under renovation after some serious storms a few years ago, and being a pretty popular state forest, like get those environmental engineers in, and try to realign it, kind of the natural landscape. Because I was reading a sign earlier. This is a big thing I like about some of these parks, when they tell you the story behind them. There was this, I think it was a creek I just crossed, but essentially, like, in response to some kind of unnatural, like man-made, like whether it was clearing that caused erosion, or building a bridge that didn't redirect water the correct way, or different things like that, you can end up making these kind of big events, like during a huge storm or something. All of a sudden, not just what you made is washed away, but like a lot of other stuff is starting to get messed up just because of that. And so engineers will come in and try to remake it to the way that it originally was, or at least like in a naturally sustainable way. Which in the case of like water flow, it's like you centralize the flow, you make it deeper in the middle, you prevents the water from getting too out of control and eroding too much. And you want it to like cut down the middle. Yeah, and then there's things to do with the forest too, like when early settlers came in and just kind of cleared everything and made farms, or just the whole act of clear cutting anywhere is not gonna help the environment. Selective clearing is a way to manage forests that is not as impactful. It makes changes, but it allows for more larger animals, more recreational use, less pests and stuff, less smaller things. And so state forests are places where a lot of that kind of management happens too. Kind of like national forests. A lot of these, any conservation area, there's a lot of like environmental engineering going on, because you want to be able to access it. So like they have to clear some, but then you look at the topography, So you try to make these roads that are always winding. If you go straight uphill, then you're just asking for erosion. See how the runoff's going to the side here. Anyway, on my way out, I just decided to do some early morning photography. Not camping, because it's a state forest, you know. Can't camp in state forest. You can hunt though. Yeah. I'm gonna save the battery because I heard there's some pretty cool waterfalls here.